your mind against you for a good time. You just might be exposed to things you didn't know about before. 'Cause we're amateur reality hackers.
Welcome everyone, and thank you for watching another episode of the Amateur Reality Hackers Podcast. Please make sure to hit subscribe and like and that little bell thing that's on there. Today we have with us Adam, who is also known as Ethereal and E on YouTube and across social media. He does some absolutely incredible music. I personally highly recommend it, especially if you're looking for something to just kind of chill your mind out and be calm and find that much needed serenity that we could all find kind of throughout the day to help level things out. So I'm very excited to have you on, Adam, and thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, most definitely. So when you first started your journey of handpan playing and, getting into that instrument in particular, how old were
you? Let's see. Oh, gosh. It's been almost 7 years, and I don't keep much track of my age very well, obviously.
Oh, no, you're good, man. That's if you just want to. So you've been playing for about 7 years. But before that, were you into other forms of music, or did you just find handpan and fall in love with it?
So I grew up in a family that my mom's family has a tradition of putting kids in piano lessons, and so I took piano lessons as a kid. Into my adolescence, and I got pretty good on the piano. I can't remember how to play the piano at all anymore, which is a shame, but I got into playing the drum set when I was 11, I think. And yeah, basically I was the kid that was just always tapping on something. And so my mom got me a drum set, put me in drum lessons, and I played drums in a garage band with some friends, and I played drums at the church we went to, and I just had this kind of fantasy of playing on stage in front of a crowd of people and being a rock star someday. And I grew up and went to college, stopped playing music, and I played some hand percussion in college. I should say not much, but and then got married, had a kid, moved across the country, got a job, went to grad school, got divorced, and my life was kind of in shambles. And I was trying to find some joy again. And I remembered playing the drums as a kid. And I remember putting on a pair of headphones and listening to some music and just getting lost in a rhythm. And nothing else mattered besides being there in that rhythm and being happy. And so I bought myself a drum set. And I also was feeling pretty lonely, and had moved across the country, didn't really know anyone. And so I started going to some open mic nights at bars and playing drums at open mic nights. And at one jam session in particular, I started playing music with this guy that had a band and played professionally and did gigs that he got hired for. And he said he needed a drummer and asked if I would fill in as a drummer in the band. And so I said, oh my gosh, of course. Are you kidding me? I would love to play music and get paid for it. And so I said yes, and I started playing some shows with them, and it was just incredible. I had never had an experience of uh, getting paid to do something that I actually enjoyed. And I did that for a few months, and drummers are pretty easily replaced. And so the guy told me that he was going to have his brother uh, be the permanent drummer from there on out, and I got replaced, and kind of crushed my dreams of this realization of being a rock star someday. And I was determined not to let that stop me. You know, I started to experience some joy, and I wanted to go back to that feeling of joy again. And so I was in between jobs, didn't have a whole lot of money at the time, and I was donating my plasma from my blood for cash. And I was laying there in a donation bed, and was flipping through videos on YouTube that were percussion related, and I came across this video of a guy in a London subway playing the handpan for tips. I had never seen a handpan before, and my first thought was, "Wow, that's amazing." My second thought was, "I could do that," and then my third thought was, "I bet you that's my ticket into being a professional musician." And I was right. Yeah, the handpan is a very expensive instrument, generally speaking, especially back then. Now there's a lot more affordable options, but back then there weren't. I would probably say there weren't any affordable options back then. The handpan hasn't been around for very long. It's only been around for a couple of decades now. So the world's still, you know, getting warmed up to this instrument, and there's still pretty tight market on this instrument too. So you know, it's a pretty sought after instrument, and as a result, the price can get pretty high. And anyways, it took me 3 years to finally figure out how to get one and save up enough money to get one. I got one, and I remembered. Well, actually, besides the guy that I saw my first handpan video of, his name is Daniel Waples. But besides him, I saw lots of people making videos of uh, doing street performance, and I thought to myself, I can do that. You know, that's all I gotta do is just get a handpan and just go sit down in a public place and just start playing music with my case open. And so I did, and I I experienced some success. I made some money, and I took that money, put it towards recording an album, and then after that, um, I started taking my album, which was just literally just burned CDs, blank burned CDs that I had written a Sharpie marker on it, and was just passing it out like that. And I started to get some gigs, and at that time I had finished my master's degree in social work. I was an elementary school counselor. Was a high stress, high demand, low paying job, and I was doing that full time. I started, playing music part time, and it was just an amazing experience. And I was just trying to, again, gravitate towards the things that made me happy and gravitate away from the things that made me not happy. And having a job like that was really, really stressing me out. And my mental health at the time was not very good. And music was providing me some joy and some relief. And so I just kept gravitating towards it. And or what did you hear me say last?
So I think the last thing you said was shoot. Devin, did you catch the last thing you said? It started to kind of glitch weird on me there.
He cut out and then he just froze for
Yeah, you were talking about how the social work was hard on your mental health, and you were gravitating towards things that were joyful and away from things that weren't joyful, and that's when things kind of started to glitch out on us.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, I was working full time as an elementary school counselor. It was a high stress job, didn't pay that much. I just wasn't very happy at that point in my life. And I had started to experience some success as a musician, just part-time, just doing street performance and doing some gigs here and there, playing at different venues. And I started experiencing some joy from that. And I wanted more of it. And I've got a little bit of an authority problem. And I have a history of being either fired from my job or being asked to leave or resigning. And sure enough, this last job, I got into a conflict with my new boss, and I was asked to resign, and I did. And you know, at that time, it was a really hard time in my life. Um, I I knew that I wanted to be a full-time musician. I didn't know if I could do it at that time. And then taking the risk of actually trying to make it happen was also really, really stressful. I had a I had a mental breakdown at that point in my life, and I actually I was admitted to a psych ward 3 different times. Was having some suicidal thoughts, and I'm really glad that I was admitted though, because it got me diagnosed with bipolar disorder and got me on the right medication, got me the help and support that I needed, and I still need today. But anyways, you know, coming through that, I was just trying to figure out if I should pursue career in music full time or not. I went to a couple of job interviews and they were just absolute shit shows. Because I didn't want a job. I didn't want to work for someone. I didn't want to do it. And I couldn't. I'm a type of person that I don't fake things well, and so my job interviews were really awful because I just couldn't fake it. And one of them, I broke down in tears, just crying in the job interview because I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be there. And anyways, I decided to just go for it with my music career, and I'm so glad I did, because it's just been snowballing ever since. 2020 was the first year that music was my primary source of income. And then 2021 was the first year that music was my only source of income. And yeah,
Nice.
it's been good.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So I got a bunch of questions and stuff I wanted to
Yeah.
say. But first off, I mean, thank you so much for being open and honest about your mental health. I'm glad that you worked through those spots. And I mean, in your own right, even though it's with a handpan and just doing solo stuff, I think you are a rock star, man. That's in a world full of chaos and pain and hurt, the most rock star punk thing a person can do is bring joy and happiness to others these days. And I know your music, at least for me, has brought a lot of serenity and peace and chaos. I myself am coming out of a hard divorce, and I also deal with depression and other mental health stuff. So that's thank you for sharing that part. Now on to a silly little kind of surface question. How expensive was the first handpan you ended up getting, if you remember?
Yeah, I think it was right around $2,000.
Oh, no shit. So yeah,
Oh, two
Yeah.
grand.
and I know before the show I asked you what the most expensive one you got was. It was about 3,000. You were saying, correct?
Yeah, I still have that one. I don't have the original one anymore. I actually, it's kind of a cool story with the original one. So I have this, like, I was born and raised on a farm that goes back 7 generations, and I have this, like, how should I say, compulsion for, like, efficiency and productivity that's been just hammered into me. I think from growing up on a farm. And so, when it came to my first handpan, when I purchased it, it was from a maker that was just starting out, and it was a prototype. And he told me that once he got more established with making, that I could trade it in for a better quality handpan from him. And so anyways, I had already started to build a little bit of a following, and I knew that like this was my first ever handpan, and like I knew that there was like something special about it being my first ever handpan. And the thought of me just like trading it in and it going to some random person maybe just didn't sit well with me. And so like I wanted to like, I guess I wanted it to have some purpose and some value to it. And I thought of, at that point, there were lots of different people in the handpan community that were doing raffles, handpan raffles. So you buy a raffle ticket, and there's so many raffle tickets, and then once the last raffle ticket's sold, you just pick a raffle ticket, and the handpan goes to that person. Mm-hmm. Well, I really wanted to do that, and but it was like also I'm trading it in for a new one, so it's like the maker had like a role in it as well. And so I asked him if he wanted to team up to raffle off this handpan. And he said, okay. And I organized it, did the whole thing. And a woman in Illinois won the handpan. And we shipped it off to her. And I had such a great experience with it. And I thought, wow, there's so much demand for this. Like, people are really interested in this handpan raffle thing. And so I thought, I want to do this again. And so I reached out to another handpan maker and asked him if he wanted to team up and do one. And he said, yes, we did it. It was a big success. Went well. And I want to say, I trying to remember if I did another one, but anyways, what it eventually morphed into is Facebook. I was my primary social media outlet was Facebook at the time, and I had just recently monetized my Facebook page, and one of the monetization features was subscriptions. And so basically people pay $5 a month subscription to your page, and then you offer them something exclusive in return. Well, I thought, man, $5 a month, that's the price of a raffle ticket. And I thought, God, if I could make this happen, I could offer handpan raffles on the first day of every single month, and for my subscribers. And so that's what I did. And it's been such a huge success that it's been almost 3 years now that I've been giving away at least one handpan a month. For a while, we were giving away 3 handpans a month. Now we're giving away 1 handpan and 2 different tongue drums and some autographed CDs every single month. When I started out doing it, it was all funded by me. It was a huge risk because Facebook doesn't actually pay out the money that is generated from subscriptions until 2 months later. So the first 2 months, I had to purchase 2 handpans to give away before I received any money from the program. And it was a huge risk. It was made me really nervous, but the risk paid off. And now it's really cool. The program has garnered enough success and attention that I now have sponsors that provide the instruments for me.
That's awesome, man. That's a
Yeah.
great way to do it.
Yeah. So
That's and I've seen some of the hand pan giveaways. I kind of always wondered what the deal with that was, but that makes total sense now. So
yeah.
you were saying that hand pan's only been around for about 20 years and you've been involved with it for about 7, which is, you've technically been working with it for about half the life of the instrument. Is that where some of your more like experimental shorts and that kind of stuff come from? Where, like, for example, your one that I posted on Facebook earlier with the jacket on and the jacket off, is that you just kind of like experimenting with the new instrument, or those techniques that other people have tried that you're just trying yourself, or what is that?
Well, the jacket on, jacket off concept was not my own. I mean, the wording "jacket on, jacket off" was my own. But there's a handpan community group on Facebook, and I saw a video of someone just put a shirt over top of the handpan or a blanket, or I don't remember what it was exactly, but and dampen the sound. And so I was like, I want to try that.
Yeah.
And so I just, at the time I was playing, doing live streams outside, and I had a hoodie that I wore, and I just took my hoodie off and put the hoodie over top of it, and I called it a jacket. I don't know why. But anyways, I made a video just asking what sounds better, jacket on, jacket off. And the one that's really popular was not the original video. The original video, I wasn't really thinking much of it. I just said, what sounds better, jacket on, put it on, jacket off, put it back on. And the wording of it, jacket off, people just went berserk over, thought it was so funny. And I didn't even realize it at the time when I said it or posted it, made the video. I didn't even think about it. And the video was popular the first time I did it. And so I was like, well, maybe I'll try making it again. Holy smokes. I don't know if the one that's most popular might have been either the second or third. I can't remember. But it now has almost 130 million views.
Oh, no shit.
On TikTok. Yeah, really insane. It's got a bunch of views on other platforms too, but TikTok is the biggest one. Crazy.
Nice. Would you say that TikTok is actually like the biggest platform that you get views on, or more YouTube, Facebook, or where do you think you're best represented?
Oh, TikTok is where I have the biggest following. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's really cool.
Is
that something you've been able to monetize also, or is TikTok more just like an exposure thing?
No, I make money on TikTok too. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's definitely how it should be. I mean, it's really cool to just, especially to hear that you came from such a point of struggle and trying to get through basically the same rat race bullshit everyone has to deal with, to now doing something that you love, that you're getting paid for, and brings a lot of joy to a lot of people. I mean that's I don't see anyone really throwing much shade your direction, and it seems like you have a lot of people that are very, very enthralled with your work, so myself included.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very cool to see. So I remember at one point you were talking about how in the handpan community the prices have started to come down to something a little bit more reasonable or attainable. Well, what is kind of a low end costing handpan these days come out at?
Well, you could probably get a low end handpan for a couple $100.
For someone that's just starting out, if they,
I wouldn't
go ahead.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, well, no, and that's what I was going to say. For someone that isn't going to do the smart thing and just subscribe to your page and hope that they get one of the monthly giveaways, what would you recommend as a good starter price range, I'll say?
So I don't have one here with me, but the company that makes this one right here behind me is called Nova Pans. And they have a affordable handpan. Well, I say affordable, but in the realm of handpan prices, it is affordable. An affordable handpan from them will cost you around $600.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was wondering about. 500, somewhere in that range. Okay.
And yeah. So I've played a bunch of different handpans and a bunch of different affordable handpans, and I would say that it's the model is called Generation 2.
Hmm.
The Generation 2 handpan from Nova Pans, I would say, is the best affordable handpan that I've seen.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
and then I was just gonna say the next best thing is tongue drums.
Okay.
So the difference between a handpan and a tongue drum, I'll show you. So a handpan has divots in it with a circle around the divot, right? And you tap on the divot or on the circle around the divot to make the tone. And then a tongue drum has slits in the metal.
Oh, I've seen those before. Okay.
Yeah. And so with the tongue drum, you tap right on. So the cut is shaped like a tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And so you tap right on the tongue with a mallet.
Gotcha.
The bigger ones you can play with your hands if you like. I like playing with mallets. But handpans you play with your hands. Tongue drums you play with mallets. And then just tap on the tongue. Anyways, the next best thing from a handpan would be a tongue drum.
Okay.
For affordability. This one here, made by a company called Beatrise, and this one costs just under $200.
Oh, okay.
So
that's not bad at all.
yeah, and here's what it sounds like. And so it's got a great sound to it, and you know, I that's what I always recommend to people is if they can't afford a handpan,
Mm-hmm.
you're better off buying a tongue drum than you are a cheap handpan. Cheap handpans, you just won't be happy with them. They're not very nice.
Okay.
So yeah.
So I noticed you have a few different styles of handpans behind you. Do they all produce different sounds, or is it just about having different aesthetic styles? Or
So the one that I was showing you, this one here. So there's 3 different types of handpans.
mm-hmm.
Scales, I should say. So basically, like when you play a chord on a guitar, right? So there's minor scales and there's major scales. Minor scales are going to be kind of like the black keys on piano. Major scales would be more like the white keys on piano. So a major scale is going to sound happier. So this is what a major scale sounds like. Right? And then a minor scale is going to sound a little more mysterious. And this is what a minor scale would sound like. And then the third type of scale, which is a bit more rare, and it's going to also, since it's rare, it's going to be more expensive. That's the one that I spent the most money on. It's called Hijaz scale, and a Hijaz scale is kind of a mix between a major and a minor scale, but it makes it sound like super mysterious. So I'll show you. Let me go grab.
Oh man.
I like his chair. The tie-dye is awesome.
Yeah. So this is the Hijaz scale.
Oh, whoa. Yeah, that is mysterious.
Wow.
And then this one was so expensive because it was a jazz scale, which was a custom scale, but also because it's got notes on the bottom as well.
Oh, whoa, that's cool.
Yeah. So this is what the notes on the bottom kind of sound like.
That's
Uh,
really cool.
Yeah, it's
And
too
this
old.
one's for sale. Anyone wants a $3,000 handband? Let me know.
If I had $3,000, you'd have to sign it for me.
Oh, so one of the other things I wanted to ask a question about, you have a lot of really cool videos of you doing your handpan music in the water, with it actually kind of like floating in the water and that kind of thing. Is that an original idea of yours, or something else you saw on Facebook?
So it's not an original idea. There was a YouTube video, an old, very old YouTube video. So, like I said, these instruments first were invented right around 1999, and so early 2000s, which was also beginnings of like YouTube and everything, right? So there was an old YouTube video of a guy that had an original handpan. Oh no, I should say. So back then they were called hang drums, an original hang drum, and he was floating it in water. And I believe the guy got a bunch of flack for it. And I trying to think here what my first experiences with putting the handpan in water was. And to be completely honest, I'm not sure I remember. Somehow I thought to do it, and I by the way have gotten a ton of flack. So you said earlier that you haven't seen a whole lot of shade come my way. I'm actually in the handpan community itself. I am probably the most hated handpan player in the entire handpan community.
No shit, I wouldn't have guessed that at all, man.
No, most people outside of the handpan community would not have guessed that. But yeah, no, I have gotten a ton of shit from the handpan community. People, think that I'm an idiot for putting a handpan in water, that it's gonna just completely destroy and damage handpans, which I actually have never had a handpan get damaged or destroyed from being in the water. It's just people they see something that they don't know anything about, and they just first go to assumptions, and then just attack people. I also have gotten a ton of shit about being on TikTok. People in the handpan community think that TikTok is not a relevant social media platform, and that it's overinflated, and that it's Chinese, and so it's a scam, and my short videos are just stupid and brainless. And so yeah, I've gotten a ton of shit from the handpan community, and it's really sad, but it just is what it is, I guess. And so yeah, no, so I like to play the handpan in water. I think it's provides a whole new vibe to it and a new element, and I love the water, being in the water. So I'm like I said before, I have a bit of an authority problem, and I think that also comes to the handpan community. I'm a type of person that I just kind of march to the beat of my own drum. I kind of like to buck against authority, or buck against whatever is the social norm. I kind of like to blaze my own trail, and so even like growing a big beard, like, or having dreadlocks, it's just like,
I mean, honestly,
kind of goes against the grain.
It does, but I think that personally makes the beautiful and serene music you make seem that much more excellent, because it's like here's this guy that looks like he's a Viking that could rip you in half if he was pissed off, and then all of a sudden here comes this really sweet, calm, beautiful music, and just the, I don't know, the duality of what you'd expect versus what comes out. It's another one of the things I would say makes you a rock star, man, because that really paints a picture of, oh shit, you can't judge people. Like, you never know what someone's been through. You never know it based on looking at them, what they're going to provide to your life. And the skill you have with your craft is incredible, man. Like I said, I know personally it's brought a lot of serenity and joy. So from me as a fan, thank you. I definitely have appreciated it. Do you have any videos of you recording the handpan when it's in water with the recording happening underwater? Like having like an
Yeah,
underwater? Oh, you do?
I
Shit,
do.
yeah. That's I'll have to have you send me a link to one of those on Facebook, because Devin was suggesting that, and I was like, oh, that would be cool
That'd
as
be
hell.
Yeah, I thought that'd be really cool to hear it underwater.
Yeah.
Yes. So here's how you can find the video most easily is if you go to my YouTube channel
Mhm.
and then go to my shorts in my YouTube channel and then organize them by most popular, you'll find it up towards
Okay.
the top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll do it.
I've done it a few times probably. Just what sounds better above water or underwater. And
Right on.
people really like that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's I thought it would be really cool to hear the difference. And I'll
Yeah.
make sure, just for anyone that's watching this, if you go down into the little description link below, I'm going to post links to all of Adam's stuff, so that way you can find his social medias and you can find his YouTube and that kind of stuff easily, because Lord knows that helps everyone. So that's something that you'll definitely be able to see there. Do you have any new musical projects, or do you have like a direction you plan on taking things? Do you have plans to release an album now that this is kind of your full-time gig?
Well, I have 3 albums out currently.
Mhm.
I haven't recorded an album for a while now. But anyways, it is something. So basically, I talked earlier about having this like compulsion for productivity and efficiency, whatever. So basically, I recorded 3 albums real quick at the beginning of my journey, and I invested quite a bit of energy and time and money into that, and I wasn't seeing much of a return on my investment. And so I was like, well, shit, like, I'm not going to record another album.
Yeah.
And so I haven't for a while. But I've started to see a return on my investment from those original albums this past year. And so I can see now that, like, okay, this is now profitable. So it would be worth investing some more time, energy, and money into another album. And so I do know that now, and it is something that's on my agenda and my list for here eventually.
I was gonna say, it might not hurt even to try to just crowdfund it, and you got enough fans now. You could probably reach out to us and be like, "Hey guys, if you guys are willing to toss up a little money, I'll match it, and we'll have an album coming out eventually." Like, I know I would throw up some money.
I don't know. I I don't like asking people for money. It just makes me feel uncomfortable.
Oh no, I totally understand it. I went through most of my life like that. Now I'm kind of on the other end of the spectrum, where I'm like, man, shit, if I'm gonna provide value to people's lives and not fuck them around, that's a large improvement on what most people do. Like, it's fair to ask for a little bit.
Well, I just like I was saying earlier. I mean, I made it work for the first 3 albums, and now I see that it's profitable now. So I guess I don't really I feel like it'd be more work than it's worth to like make a big deal out of it.
Mhm.
I'm also I'm kind of the type of person also that, like, if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. Like, I don't
Don't half-ass things.
well, it's just like, I don't know. I that's it's I guess I should just say that's not a problem. And I know it's something I want to do eventually, and I'll do it eventually.
Cool.
But anyways, and then as far as like content goes, I do have something that's going to be starting in just a couple days. I'm excited about it, and I think that people, my viewers, will be excited about it too. I'm hoping that it doesn't like get to a point where it gets to be too old, like content like overdone.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so I've got this birthday song that people really like. I don't know if you've seen it or not, or heard it or not, but basically, way back in the day, when I was doing gigs and whatnot, I would do birthday parties and whatnot, and people would ask me to play the birthday song, and I would be like, well, I'm a percussionist, so I can't read music, and so I can't play the birthday song, and so I just wouldn't. And then over time, more people were asking, and I finally got to a point where I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just make up my own birthday song. And so I made up my own birthday song, and from the moment that I first came up with it, it's always been a hit. And so I have this past year, I've been posting one happy birthday video a month, and nearly everyone I post always performs really well. And so I have this idea that for 2023, I'm going to try and post a happy birthday video for every single day of the year, so that I am able to hit everyone's birthday at some point.
Oh, that's cool.
And then also, what I'm planning on doing is I have had people commenting on TikTok their month and day of their birthday. And I've been going to my old birthday videos and finding comments that say January 1st, January 2nd, January 3rd. And I'm going to do a video reply to those comments on those people's birthday.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah. So, like the person whose birthday is January 1st, I'm going to do a video reply on January 1st with their comment with my happy birthday video. So, yeah. So, and then my plan is hopefully to do that throughout the rest of the year. Just keep on doing video replies on people's birthday with the birthday video. So, yeah. So
nice.
that's what I'm planning for this next year.
Well, that sounds
We'll
cool,
see how
man.
it goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I was gonna say that's a really nice way to engage with your audience, though. It gives everyone kind of something a little special for them, you know?
Yeah.
Well, that's really fun. So I know you used to do gigs in the past. Is that still something you do ever, or are you just more basically strictly online content currently because of COVID and all that crap that happened?
So yeah, so I was doing gigs, and then COVID happened and kind of shut all of that down. And I, similarly as before when I got kicked out of the band, I said I'm not going to let this stop me, and so I just dove into my online content, and man, it's taken off like crazy. I I joined TikTok 2.5 years ago, so it would have been the summer of 2020, so which would have been solidly right in the middle of COVID. And so 2.5 years later, I have 8.2 million followers on TikTok.
That's well done, man.
Thank you. So, but anyways, so what I've kind of proven to myself is that I don't really need to do gigs in order to make it work. I'm making it work online. But I have kind of learned that I would like to interact with people face to face and in person. So I've decided to start being more open to doing in-person performances. So I have my first one since before COVID scheduled for the second Friday of January here in the town that I live in. So yeah, so I'm excited about that too.
Nice. That's awesome, man. That's great to hear. Well, if anything like that ever ends up wandering around the country, I know I'll be catching you for sure. That's
Thank you.
yeah, of course, man. That would be really cool. Gosh, I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to ask. I think that was pretty much it, my man. Thank you so much for coming on, Adam. I really appreciate it. It's been a real joy talking with you. Oh yeah, there was one more thing. So I know that personally, especially now that we've had this conversation, one thing that I think is really exciting about you and your career is the place it came from to the place it's gotten to. And so, what would your advice be to someone else that's depressed and upset about life and they're not where they want to be and they have a dream they could chase?
Yeah. So I would say kind of like what I've done is gravitate away from the things that make you unhappy and gravitate towards the things that make you happy. And it sounds super simple, but I really think that that's what it's all about. And I think that God, we've got such a short time on this earth, and that life is short, and you never know which moment's going to be your last. And I don't think that a whole lot of people think about death. Um, uh, for me, I do. I do think about death. And I think that might have to do with the fact that when I was a kid, my dad committed suicide. And so that's just kind of always been in my face my whole life. And obviously, that's not something ideal, but I do, in a way, see it as somewhat of a blessing, because I guess when you're looking at death in the face and you make it out of it, life becomes a lot more valuable. And so I guess I would just ask people, if you were to die tomorrow, what would you want to do with your last day of life? What would you want to do with your last moments of life? I've been watching this show on Netflix. I like to watch international English dubbed videos and series. There's this show called Alice in Borderland I've been watching. It's a really weird Japanese show, but it's basically all about just like death and being confronted with death on a daily basis and like making it through. And like, I guess the thing that I really resonate with is when I see people on that show that like they know they're gonna die, and it's their last moments of life, and there's this like peacefulness about them, that when you know you're gonna die and it's your last moments of life, you just accept it, and there's a peacefulness about it, and it's letting go. And I guess, I would just challenge people to live your life with that peacefulness and live your life with a sense of letting go consistently, and just being at peace and not allowing stress or anxiety, worries to control you or stop you. And yeah, just be in the moment, be happy, find something like I have with drumming and with percussion, playing the handpan, that gets you to live in the moment. And when you can live in that moment, like nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. So yeah.
I think that was a great piece of advice, man, and that was very well said. And I also had a parent commit suicide when I was young, so I'm very sorry that you went through that. And it is interesting the perspective that it can give you on life. And yeah, I catch myself saying that to people a lot, especially when they're kind of acting an ass. Is like, you know, what if one of us died tomorrow? Is this really the last set of memories you're trying to make right now? Like that's kind of ridiculous. But anyway, man, thank you very much for coming on. This has been an absolutely beautiful conversation. I hope you keep having the snowball of success and, you know, all the goodwill and good fortune that you deserve, man, because you definitely deserve it.
Thanks, man. Likewise.
Thank you, man.
Amateur reality hackers using the jaws of life on your inner line, opening up your mind so you can see inside so bright, discussing lots of topics that are serious and not so serious.